comply with the current curfew regulations, restaurants are unable to serve dinner to their customers, which means that they are unable to operate at peak time of their business day. In response to this challenge, Cabinet has agreed to move the curfew to start at 10 o'clock p.m. to allow for uninterrupted dinner services at restaurants. We believe that this change will go a long way towards increasing their revenue generation. The sale of alcohol remains prohibited, unfortunately, to my restaurant sector. That's the feedback. On accommodation for leisure, Cabinet has also agreed to ease the restriction around leisure travel. Currently, individuals are not allowed to leave their homes for leisure purposes. After the release of the new regulations, individuals will be permitted to leave their homes for leisure purposes within their provinces where they currently live. Let me emphasize this. It is only for intra-provincial travel, not inter-provincial. It's intra, not inter. So it's within your province. If you are in Gauteng, you are allowed to be within Gauteng. You don't go to KZN. If you are in KZN, you don't go to Gauteng. That's what it means. Individuals are still not permitted to travel between provinces for leisure purposes. Accordingly, this change has implications for accommodation facilities that are permitted to operate under level 3. No more, in terms of the directions that we will be issuing once the regulations have been published, it will be expected that within the accommodation will comply with no more than 2 persons per room except for a nuclear family. This means a parent or 2 parents with children. Establishments are already legally obliged to require and keep a record of proof of identity, and this shall be expected even for leisure accommodation. Short-term home rental sharing remains closed. It's not yet allowed. Under tour operators, in the new regulations, the tour operators will be allowed to conduct guided tours in open safari vehicles subject to directions and includes provisions for both social distancing and maximum ventilation. These changes will come into effect immediately as soon as the new regulations have been gazetted and published. Since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, we have been having several and regular interactions with various stakeholders. These interactions, which are almost on a weekly basis, have helped us to gather inputs from all stakeholders on how best to reopen the sector and support the recovery going forward. I must indicate these interactions are at a ministerial level. So it is the minister with the delegation that meets various sectors and individuals weekly in order to ensure that we remain constantly in touch with the sector and having engagements with the sector. While other activities continue from officials and including our entity and the discussions that are led by both the board and also